Hey friends, full reactions in the link in the description below, so pause, leave a like, really helps with the channel, subscribe, and come back after you watch the reaction for the discussion. Give you some time to do that. Review and commentary starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. It was really cool seeing our kids do rescue exercises for the first time. Imagine the first time taking a test and you've never got to practice the material. I mean, they at least learned some about some of it in class. Hakaguri still had to explain what bystanders are to Kaminari and Mineta, which, I mean, bystander is a pretty common word, and Mineta is like slightly above average in class. So very curious that they just didn't know what bystanders are. I'm glad they seem to get a handle on everything pretty quickly, though. The stop bar that Momo made come out of her and Uraraka crashing into it was just so cute. Uraraka had that like X as both of her eyes. Really must have hurt. She's like, ooh. That was really funny. There were people who were professional rescuees, though, and they were actually super amusing as well. I'm very curious what other kinds of jobs would only show up in a society with quirks and heroes. At the moment, I can just think that everyday normal jobs would change quite a bit. Like, for instance, detective work must be so much harder since you have to account for the existence and possibility of quirks you've never even thought of. For instance, like you think the criminal must have fled down this alleyway. There's another option. He just flew away, or sank into the ground, or he's still here but made himself invisible or tiny. I don't know. It changes other jobs too. Like teachers have to deal with students who have quirks. Like, how are you gonna stop rebellious kids from causing too much havoc with their quirk? And it's illegal for them to use that, but are you going to call the cops on a student? Like, what kind of monster will do that? And I say that as I've seen multiple videos of police in the US arrest black elementary school students for being a little rowdy. But yeah, I'm so frustrated with Uraraka this episode. First, Hantasero had to go blab to Mineta and Kaminari about Kami, and so they came down hard on Midoriya because they were jealous of him seeing Kami naked and spending naked time with her. Well, she was naked, he was not. But yeah, Deku was just trying to pass the licensing exam. Kami didn't help Mineta and Kaminari calm down with her wave, the friendly wave. I mean, yeah, she's much friendlier than I imagined she would be. I guess they're not directly competing anymore, so she's acting this way. Because before, maybe she was like psyching him out by pretending to be like somewhat obsessed with him. I don't know, but Uraraka watching all this go down just doesn't feel great, and actually goes to talk to Deku about her feelings, maybe. But then the second round began right as she started saying his name. Oh man, and then during the second round, she sees how hard Deku is trying to be a hero, and she just decides to push her feelings down. Come on. I mean, at the very least, she's admitting to herself that there are feelings there, but I mean, I don't know that there's ever a good point where you want to push down your feelings. It's not good for your own mental well-being. I hope it doesn't boil over into something bad later on for her. And I don't know, it's just this issue that's going to linger. Their friendship is going to be affected, I have to imagine. But yeah, frustrated with Uraraka. I understand, but I'm also a little frustrated. Todoroki tries to reach out to Inasa, but apparently Inasa hates Endeavor and Shoto. I thought it was probably going to be about Endeavor, but apparently they've met before, I guess, during the recommendation exam. But yeah, the way he worded it made it definitely sound like he had a problem with Shoto, not just because of his father, but because of him as well. He met Todoroki, and at the same time, Todoroki doesn't remember him, so I think I think I have a pretty good feeling of why Inasa doesn't like Todoroki, or at least what Todoroki was putting out that might make others not like him so much. Because Inasa said himself, like, his eyes are a little different now, but they're still the same. They're still very similar to Endeavor's. So what's changed about Todoroki since we met him? I'd say he's dealt with his issues quite a bit and has become a little kinder, a little gentler. And he used to be so obsessed with not becoming his father, but now with a bit of a nudge from Deku and talking with his mother, he started to figure out what kind of person he wants to be. So yeah, before he was just so focused on not being his father that he was blind to everything else. And so, yeah, I think that fury, that anger, probably rubbed Inasa the wrong way. I don't know if it's the reason Inasa didn't go to UA, because that would be something else, actually. I hope that's not the reason. That's because he looked up to UA so much. I don't know. But we end the episode with Gang Orca, and I'm guessing his sidekicks posing as villains. And so the strongest hero candidates are going to have to come and help get this done, protect, fight all these guys while everybody tries to continue saving people. I'm guessing the strongest fighters are Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, Inasa, maybe Ida. Ida's mostly a maybe. Like, he's strong, but not as strong as the others I listed. And plus his speed, I feel like, makes him an asset with moving people and scouting. So yeah, not entirely sure. But if I'm right and Todoroki and Inasa both show up to fight, it could set up a fun dynamic given how much Inasa hates Todoroki. We've got ice, fire, and wind. And it depends on how Inasa's wind quirk works. Which is he essentially an airbender? Which, by the way, the original creators of Avatar and Korra have started their own studio and are making new Avatar content again, which, yay. The first project's going to be a movie, an animated movie, so really excited for that whenever that comes out. But yeah, Todoroki, Inasa, ice doesn't really interact much with the element of air other than making it like chilly, but depending on how Inasa's quirk works, he could either snuff out Todoroki's fires by depriving the air of oxygen, or make Todoroki's fires run wild. And I really don't know what to expect from their interaction. But at the end, when they were talking about Gang Orca, the camera switched from Inasa and Todoroki and Deku. They focused on those three, Inasa, Deku, and Todoroki. So it feels like those three will be the most involved in going against Gang Orca. I feel like anime tends to include small but very obvious hints like that. But yeah, it'd be an advantage if the kids know Gang Orca's quirk because he's in the spotlight. He's the number 10 hero. But he might not know theirs unless he's done prior research. So that's one luxury they'll likely have that they wouldn't have in a real battle. Meanwhile, we had Bakugo yell at a bunch of low priority targets. He's so ridiculous. Minus points for him for having a bad attitude. What the hell did you say? Like, he's just so... the boy needs therapy. The boy needs therapy. But yeah, it's kind of a overall feel-good episode, seeing everybody learn how to save people since they've never done it before. And I don't know, it's very fulfilling seeing them do that for some reason, because they've been trying to be heroes for so long, but we've mostly seen them struggle against villains as opposed to saving people. They've mostly had to save themselves. So yeah, it was a different feeling, and I actually really enjoyed it. I'm going to give this a 9.0. Looking forward to seeing what happens next with Gang Orca. I guess we'll find out next episode. If you want to watch the full reaction, check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Early reactions are there as well. Leave a like, really helps the channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, friends.